Today's the anniversary of 9/11, and Dick Cheney wanted to talk about how President Obama shouldn't get the sole credit for getting Bin Laden. He said, oh, there's a lot of intelligence over many years that led to this. In other words, please, I'd also like to get some credit. Here's, of course, a problem with that. Dick Cheney and George W. Bush did not get Bin Laden. They were miserable failures. Nonetheless, Vice President Dick Cheney said, if President Obama were participating in his intelligence briefings on a regular basis, then perhaps he would understand why people are so offended at his efforts to take sole credit for the killing of Osama Bin Laden. In other words, oh, please, please give me some of the credit, even though I sucked and never got Bin Laden, and neither did George W. Bush, and our administration was a grotesque failure. Now, not attending briefings and not paying attention to them, is that what you were talking about, Dick? Is that what you were talking about? That's fascinating. Because, of course, everybody remembers the famous August 6th presidential daily briefing for President Bush when he was down at Crawford for a month. You remember that? He was on vacation for a month before we got hit on September 11th. Well, in that briefing, it was titled, Bin Laden Determined to Strike in U.S. Now, the CIA gives a briefing every day to the president. In this case, they sent a guy all the way down there, not through a video conference, saying, hey, this is really important. You've got to pay attention to this. They're coming any minute now, and they're going to hit us inside the United States. Now, though, we find out that this was not the only briefing. In fact, under pressure from the 9/11 Commission, this was the only one that the Bush administration released in 2004. It turns out there were many, many others before the August 6th briefing, and they were all in a panic state saying, please, can someone pay attention? Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda is coming. You've got to do something. Well, Kurt Eichenwald, writing for the New York Times, actually found out what some of those briefings said. He had access to them. So listen to what Eichenwald says at the New York Times. The administration's reaction to what Mr. Bush was told in the weeks before that infamous briefing reflected significantly more negligence than has been disclosed. He said the August 6th document, for all the controversy it provoked, is not nearly as shocking as the briefs that came before it. It does not sound good, obviously. So what came before? He says, quote, the direct warnings to Mr. Bush about the possibility of a Al-Qaeda attack began in the spring of 2001. By May 1st, the Central Intelligence Agency told the White House of a report that a group presently in the United States was planning a terrorist operation. Weeks later, on June 22nd, the Daily Brief reported that Al-Qaeda strikes could be imminent. Further, but some in the administration, this is amazing, consider the warning to be just bluster. An intelligence official and a member of the Bush administration both told me in interviews that the neoconservative leaders who had recently assumed power at the Pentagon were warning the White House that the CIA had been fooled. According to this theory, Bin Laden was merely pretending to planning an attack to distract the administration from Saddam Hussein, whom the neoconservatives saw as a greater threat. So the neocons come in and they've got an agenda. They're going to attack Iraq no matter what. Now they get the intelligence, and the intelligence says it's not Iraq, it's Al-Qaeda. Watch out for them. These guys go, oh yeah, they're probably head faking. Ignore that stuff about Al-Qaeda. It's probably misinformation to try to get us off the scent of Iraq. You idiots, you morons. We got hit because you wouldn't move off of your preconceived ideology that was dead wrong. The CIA eventually had to do a briefing, June 29th of 2001, saying the U.S. is not the target of a disinformation campaign by Osama Bin Laden. He's like, basically, this is the CIA telling the Bush administration, how stupid are you? Not Iraq, Al-Qaeda, Bin Laden. How clear do we have to make it? And apparently, no matter how clear you made it, it didn't work. Here were the briefings that he got on this. At a bare minimum, May 1st of 2001, June 29th of 2001, July 1st, July 9th, July 11th, July 24th, August 6th. And yet, they still did nothing. Let me tell you about the June 29th briefing. Operatives connected to Bin Laden, one reported on June 29th, expected the planned near-term attacks to have dramatic consequences, including major casualties. Now, what kind of a president gets a briefing like that and says, I'll go on vacation? Says, I won't have a principals meeting. I won't do anything about Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. I will not protect the citizens of this country. I'll pretend instead that it's Saddam Hussein, while my intelligence tells me it is not. Well, the same kind of guy who, of course, when given that famous briefing on August 6th at Crawford, told the CIA agent, according to Ron Suskind's book, quote, all right, you covered your ass now. He wasn't trying to cover his ass. He was trying to do his job and protect the citizens of this country. Instead, your lazy ass didn't want to get off your stupid ranch. Even after 9/11, a couple months later, President Bush was asked about Osama Bin Laden, and he had this grotesque answer.
So I don't know where he is. Nor, I just don't spend that much time on him. I'll be honest with you. Who knows if he's hiding in some cave or not? We hadn't heard from him in a long time. And the idea of focusing on one person is really indicates to me people don't understand the scope of the mission. Terror is bigger than one person.
Doesn't understand the scope of the mission? No, I know someone who doesn't understand the scope of our problems. And by the way, you hadn't heard from Bin Laden in a while? How about 9/11 when we heard from him? You incompetent fool. By the way, you think they're gone? They're never gone. So here are the list of neoconservative advisors that worked with George W. Bush and are now part of Mitt Romney's campaign. John Bolton, Elliot Cohen, Cofer Black, Waleed Ferris, Michael Hayden, Dan Senor, Max Boot, Eric Edelman. They're all back, and they can't wait to come back in to power and screw it up all over again. And how does Mitt Romney feel about all this? The same exact way George W. Bush felt about it. When asked during his last campaign for president in 07 and 08, Mitt Romney said, well, it's not worth moving heaven and earth, spending billions of dollars, just trying to catch one person. So here are Republicans saying over and over again, we will not protect you. We don't care about the biggest threat. In fact, Mitt Romney later went on to say in this campaign that he thought Russia was a bigger threat. We don't care, we won't protect you, and then we'll brag about how we're better at foreign policy and national security. If all those people hadn't gotten killed, it would just be one sad joke. As it is, they're a danger and a threat to this nation. If you put them back in charge, they might screw it up just like they did before 9/11, and that is unacceptable.